everybody. Do you want to go visit the farm? No? Why not? Oh, right. Because it's a farm. Welcome back to Deep in Bear Country, a Berenstain Bearcast. I am your host, Phil Gonzalez, and this week we're taking a trip down to the farm. Growing up, I never went to farms. I didn't cherish the idea. There's things I didn't like as a kid. Those things were outside. Those things were animals I didn't know. Those things were bug and dirt, mud, getting dirty, mud, work, hay. I didn't like any of that stuff. Old houses. It's strange how people in rural areas kind of weirded me out. Overalls, didn't really care for the getting any kind of like stains on my pants. I didn't like any of that. I didn't like trucks, not a huge fan of trucks. Any kind of driving off-road, didn't really care for that. Uneven ground. So, to sum up, didn't care for not only farms, but the very milieu of the farm. Wasn't a farm person. I did have a friend. Well, I knew a kid. My mom was friends with a woman whose kid I hung out with. I don't know if you would call us friends because they were that. It was that sort of like friendship of convenience thing, or not really convenience, just our moms were friends, so we had to be friends. He was a nice enough kid, don't get me wrong, nice kid. I just don't know if we ever really had that much in common. However, every once in a while he wouldn't be available to hang out or to do stuff with because they would be going to, as my mom would say, the farm. They would, oh, no, they can't, he can't hang out today. They're at the farm. He went to the farm. They're at the farm for a week. And so in my mind, I always had this image of this sort of bucolic agrarian compound. This place with rolling hills and cows and sheep and pigs and ducks and geese and, I don't know, rams and ewes and a pig and a spider maybe. And she was teaching him how to read or something. I don't remember what that book was about. Come to find out, it wasn't a farm at all. It was a plot of land with like an old trailer on it. And they called it the farm. I don't know why. I think mostly because if they didn't call it the farm, it was hard to say. We're going to the dirt. We're going to the land. We're going to the space, the plot, the gross area. I don't actually know if it was a gross area. It's kind of unfair for me to say. It might not have been gross. In my mind, though, once I found out it wasn't actually a farm, again, an area of the world I had no interest in ever visiting, but as soon as I found out it wasn't an actual farm, I was totally off the idea. I was like, I can't trust anyone anymore. In any case, why am I spending so much time talking about farms? Why am I even bringing up the idea of visiting a farm? I'm going to tell you why. It's because this week's book is 2020's mid-COVID, take it home, entertainment extravaganza, lift the flap nightmare, the Berenstain Bears visit where? The farm. That's right. The Berenstain Bears visit the farm. Whose farm? Ben's farm. Who else's farm? Mrs. Ben's farm. They go to the farm, they visit. It's a lift the flappery book. It's an adventure. It's a journey of discovery, and I haven't lifted any flaps yet. Now, as you probably know from my show, lift the flap options are limited. You either buy the physical book or you buy the digital book and hope the flaps are there. Last time I covered a Lift the Flap book digitally, the flaps were not present. If I don't remember, I believe the images on the digital version were closed, like the flaps were all closed. Like you couldn't see what was inside the flaps. It was just flat image. There was no interactivity involved, negating the concept of lift the flaps altogether. Either that or no, because we also did a book that had been a lift the flap that was translated into a regular book where they just took the flaps off, which kind of also negated the point of the book, because then you're just, instead of discovering animals, you're just shown animals. And so I went out looking for this book. This book does not exist digitally. It only exists physically, which of course presents another challenge to me, because how do I share visually the experience of lifting the flap? Well, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to get to see it. Does Phil have a multi-camera setup today? Yes, he does. Let me pull that up because you're going to be amazed. You, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching this on YouTube, if you're just listening along at home, you're going to want to see this one on YouTube because I'm about to click a button that is going to reveal the manliest chest you've ever seen. My chest. Manly chest. Why is it manly? Why does it look great? Because my camera is at such an angle that it's going to make me look more built than I am. And you know what? I ain't complaining about it. I ain't complaining about it. It's also going to show you a shirt that I'm wearing that was bought for me by the wonderful, the lovely, the incredibly talented, the incredibly smart, the incredibly welcome on my show, Alana. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. She bought me a Bluth's Frozen Banana Stand shirt. Probably the greatest shirt that I own. Got a compliment on it at the state fair that I failed to hear, but Alana heard it. But I have this camera set up so that you can see the Berenstain Bears visit the farm. That's right. You're going to get to see the Lift the Flappery in all of its glory live on camera. And we're going to discover what the flap is going on as together, because I don't know what's behind any of these flaps. I barely know the story. I did read this book in advance because I didn't want to run the risk of there being something awful in it. Maybe there's something dirty. Maybe Mike just completely went nuts and decided, hey, I'm gonna go for broke in this book that, you know, most likely will only be read by a handful of people. He didn't. It's a safe book for your kids. But let's cover the Berenstain The Berenstain Bears visit the farm. And as you can see, the cover it gives it away. I mean, it's Mrs. Ben and Farmer Ben. We see their Thanksgiving turkey that they rescued, which has the offensive name. I won't mention the name anymore. Trust me, it's offensive to everyone. To name a turkey the name they named it. It's horrible. I don't believe they call it out by name in this book. We'll find out. We see a rooster, we see some chicks, we see a cat, we see a horse, we see a stalk of wheat behind the title, and our bear family waving hello to Farmer and Mrs. Ben. Again, not sure where they're going to locate the farm this time. Depending on which book you read, sometimes the farm is located on the other side of Beartown, sometimes the farm is located within spitting distance of the bear's front yard. It just really depends on what purpose it's serving in the story. And since this is a Lift the Flap book, there is no title page, there is no copyright page. It jumps right into the story. So what is the story? Well, we see the bear family. We actually see the bear family pretty much in the pose they are in on the cover, approaching the Ben's house. They're not approaching the barn. This is the family's farmhouse. And it says that they're visiting their neighbors. Hello there, says Farmer Ben. Would you like to see our farm? Says Mrs. Ben. We would, says the bear family. And I'm gonna call it out right now. The bear family has seen this farm. Brother and sister literally worked on this farm for a summer. This is nothing new. I don't know why they're being shown around it at this point. I don't know if new changes have been made. I don't know if maybe they've hired some new help. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know why the bear family decided to drop in gate crash. What I can only assume is a Sunday afternoon because the Bens don't seem to be busy right now. It's the day of rest for them. Of course, I don't know what religion the Bens are now that I think about it. Considering the naming conventions of the Bens, remember that Ben is not his last name. It's not it's their surname, but not really. His name is his father's name was Ben Joseph. It's like Ben Ezra, Ben Joseph, Ben Gurion. I don't know. It's an unusual naming convention for a Midwestern waspish farmer. So I don't know. We'll find out. Are there any secrets in the farm? Let's find out. So I don't see any indication that Farmer and Mrs. Ben are even here. Where are they? Well, let's open the front door and find out, shall we? Who is it? It's Farmer Ben. Not a huge surprise. This is, it says that Farmer Ben says hello. He's leaning in the doorway. Howdy how. So not a big surprise. Maybe there'll be a surprise behind this windy here. You open the window. Oh, it's just Mrs. Oh, again, we could probably have figured that out. It says that Mrs. Ben also talks to them, and she's not in the proper picture. So, but what's behind the other shutter? It's two shutters. Are there any secret? Ooh, this is a tough one. This one's still held firm. There's two shutters on the front window. Mrs. Ben's behind one, and behind the other we have her hand. That's it. You have Mrs. Ben's hand behind the second shutter. So behind the door, Farmer Ben. Behind the windows, Mrs. Ben. And the Bear family is all set to go on their farm adventure. Let's find out what's at the farm, ladies and gentlemen. Turn the page. Why, it's a big red barn. It's a barn. That's it. Apparently, Bossy the cow is somewhere around. We can't see Bossy from here. But this is where they get their milk and where their barn cat, Clara, gets her milk. But wait a minute. I don't see a cat or a cow in any of these pictures. Could there be something behind door number 1 and 2? Why, yes, it is Bossy the cow. This is where she gives her milk. And who else is in the barn? Why, it's that boy. It's Milton. It looks like it's massive Milton. It's Milton who is helping out on the farm. Milton the farm bear. Why do I think it's Milton? Where he's wearing coveralls like Milton and he has glasses like Milton. So I think it's Milton milking Bossy the cow. Ladies and gentlemen, why is Bossy a cow name? Why did Bossy become a cow name? If anyone out there in Cowland knows, let me know. But up in the barn, up top in the barn, we've got a little window up here. What's in the window? Oh, it's the cat. It's the farm cat, Clara. She's cleaning her paw. She's a good cat. It's where she gets her saucer of milk. So we know that Clara does not get her milk straight from the teat, which would be odd. I don't know if can a cat suckle at a cow teat? Cow people, let me know. But hey, Samson lives in the stable. Who's Samson? He's a horse. He's not a, I thought for a second he was like the farmhand. He lives in the stable. There's Samson. He's eating his oats. You lift up the stable. It's like a garage type door. You lift it up and there's Samson. Samson the horse. But what's over here? Why, it's some sort of a chicken coop. It's a chicken coop. What's in the chicken coop? Eggs. Who wakes up the chicken? Rooster. Let's find out. I bet, ladies and gentlemen, when I lift up this chicken coop flap, we're going to see chickens. Will they fly the coop? I don't think so. It's a book with just pictures. They can't leave. They can't leave. I can leave. I can leave whenever I want because I have free will. These are two-dimensional drawings. I bet of chickens. I bet of a rooster. Fingers crossed. And if I'm wrong on my bet, I'll give you all a concert. Here we go. Sorry, everyone. I was right. Chickens and rooster underneath the flap. Tarantara. You know who else could have been in this chicken coop, though? The Bear Scouts. They used Farmer Ben's old chicken coop as their clubhouse at one point. Or maybe it was the Bear Detectives. One of them. They had to clean out the old chicken coop. It smelled terrible, like it was gag-worthy. Because chicken coops, I don't know if you've ever been in one, or near one, around one, heard of one. They are nightmare places. If there is a hell, it's probably a chicken coop. Because chickens are disgusting animals. Smart, too. Smarter than you think. But, oh, there's a gate. Mrs. Ben is a sarcastic one. And she says in the pig pen, believe it or not, is pigs. There's pigs in the pig pen. They keep cool lying in the mud. And remember, and you lift a flap and there's pigs there. Pigs, not filthy animals. Pigs are not filthy animals, despite what Jules says in Pulp Fiction. Pigs are not filthy animals. They spend all day wallowing in the mud because they're hot and because we give them mud to wallow in. And filth. We give them filth to wallow in. They have no choice but to wallow in it because they're stuck in a pen. Also, if you fall into a pig pen, like in The Wizard of Oz, remember in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy falls into the pig pen at the beginning and she's like, help, help, help. And she's like scared out of her mind and Bert Lahr is like, oh, she was, oh, that poor kid, she was almost hurt. Yeah, because pigs will attack you if you fall into their pen. They're not friendly. They're super smart, but they will attack you. And pigs will eat a person. Remember that. Pigs will eat a person. Not just in Hannibal Lecter books, just in real life. They'll just do it. Pigs will just eat a person. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of hay. Big old hauling hay. A wag for hauling hay. Hickory the Mule pulls it when he feels like it. I don't think we've ever met Hickory. Maybe we have. Have we met Hickory the Mule? Well, let's see what Hickory the Mule looks like and why Farmer Ben is throwing shade at poor Hickory. Oh, look, that, whoa, whew, woof, oh boy, this is a, okay, so Hickory is a, I don't think, Mike, I don't think this counts as a mule. This is like some kind of dinosaur or like some kind of Giraffosaurus or so. This is not, I have never seen a mule that looks like this, Michael. Michael Berenstain. There is something terribly wrong with this animal. I don't know. It looks like a duck-billed dinosaur, but it's also like something's wrong with its legs are twisted. Like its back legs are twisted. It can't stand up straight. Farmer Ben's like, this lazy animal. And the mule is like, I am in pain. My life is my body is a roadmap of pain. My life is a song of pain. I am 100 years old and my legs don't work. So make fun all you want, Ben, Ben, Ben. I'm not getting any better. 2 steps to the glue factory for old, what's his name? Hickory. I almost called him Horace. Hickory the Mule. Oh boy, the kids are thinking. Are we almost done at this farm? We've worked here, remember? Not on your life, kids. We're only at the halfway point. All right, so. Look, it's a tractor, says Ben. That's not true. Now, where are our sheep? They're behind the tractor. There's a tractor, and you lift up the tractor, and there's like a ram. There's a ewe. There's 2 baby sheeps. I don't know what they're called. Lambs. There's 2 lambs, all hiding behind the tractor. Don't know why. I guess it's because we couldn't really think of like where would sheep be. They're just kind of out in the meadow. You can't really like have a meadow lift the flap. So it's Mike wanted to draw a tractor as well. Really nice tractor. That's a John Deere, John Bear. I don't know. But the sheep are behind the tractor, and as Sister says, those lambs are so cute. They are, Sister. They are cute. Meanwhile, there's a blackberry bush. Where's our billy goat? Right here, says Mrs. Ben. He'll eat everything, even the blackberry thorns. And the blackberry goat is eating the blackberry bush, eating the blackberry thorns. What a little garbage eater. What a garbage disposal boy. He's eating the thorns. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting really worked up. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm being a little snarky. I apologize. I am not usually this snarky. I have no excuse. B, there's just not a whole lot to say about this book. It's a delightful trip to a farm. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a delightful trip to a farm. That's all I have to say. It's a delightful trip. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a delightful trip to a farm. Love it or not. What next? Tomatoes. We've got tomatoes. We got tomatoes. And bell peppers. Purple bell peppers. I didn't even know that was a thing. What's that munching our vegetables? Those curse word rabbits, Mrs. Ben wants to say. She says dratted, but I think she wants to curse up a swear. Because you lift the flap behind the tomatoes and the potatoes and the squashers and the peppers, and you see rabbits eating the vegetables. And whenever people grow vegetables in their garden and they're like, those darn rabbits, the deers come to eat my foods that I made. Whenever they say that, I'm like, they did. No, the rabbits aren't eating your food. The rabbits are eating their food. The rabbits are eating food you put outside for them. You grew for them. You grew it in their turf. If the rabbits were like coming into your house and going through your refrigerator, if the deer were going through your stuff and eating your food, then yes, you could complain. When you grow food outside, you're growing food in the home of the animals that were there before you. The rabbits and the deer, everything else. Yes, you can build protections to keep animals away, but don't be surprised. The rabbits are eating food you left outside for them. Same thing with bird feeders. I get annoyed when the squirrels get in the bird feeder, yes. Mostly because I'm like, it's not your food. But then on the other hand, I'm like, it is your food. Like, I literally just put food out for you. You're like, oh, I'm a wild animal. This is the food I need to eat to survive. And it's convenient. It's not that convenient. They have to work harder to get the food in the bird feeder than they do just the food on the ground. But the squirrel, it's high protein. It's like really good food. So the squirrels, of course, they want to get into it. You put food outside for them. And anyway, what's that nibbling? Our sunflower seeds. Those crows, Mrs. Ben wants to say, but she doesn't. She says those dratted crows. Caw-caw. And they are not scared off by the scarecrow. Again, Wizard of Oz. Remember when the scarecrow's not scared off by the crows? Caw-caw. There it is. Scarecrows don't work. I don't think they work. I don't think they've ever worked. I think it's like a fallacy. I think it's one of those things that like someone built one once and everyone was like, that's a good idea. Does it work? And the farmer was probably like, not real. I don't think so. Or maybe like I had to clear out an area for the scarecrow. So there's no crows like in that one area, but there's nothing there for them to eat anyway. So maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. If you cleared out your whole crop and replaced it all with scarecrows, there wouldn't be any crows. Little farming tip from me to you. Where'd the cubs go? Hi, says Papa Bear. Where's our cubs go? Here we are, says Sister. You scamps, Farmer Ben says, laughing. Where are they? I don't know. Farmer Ben has a vegetable stand. Let's look behind it. Ah, it's the cubs. The cubs hid behind the vegetable stand. They're laughing. They're laughing it up. They love it so much. And Farmer Ben is pointing and laughing at them. Goodbye, says Mama, waving. Come again soon, says Mrs. Ben. You're always welcome at the farm. Now, what's funny is the whole picture is the idea is that Papa's pretending to look for the cubs. The cubs are hiding. They're laughing. Farmer Ben is pointing at them and laughing. Mrs. Ben is waving goodbye. And Mama's waving goodbye. That's the last page of the book. So it's a 2-page spread. However, when I first looked at this book, I was kind of just going page by page. And so if you just look at the last page, it looks like Mama's waving goodbye and that Farmer Ben is just pointing and laughing at her, which to me is a much better ending. Like, haha, you fools. You came to my farm and spent an afternoon here. I come to the farm all the time and spend every afternoon here. But I do it because I have to, because that's how I live. That's how I make money. You guys came here under some misguided notion that it would be a good time. But that is the Berenstain Bears a Lift the Flap book! Point. Visit the Farm by Mike Berenstain. Berenstain Bears Visit the Farm. It's only available in physical copies. I couldn't find a digital. There's no digital version available. Is it worth buying? Did I make a mistake? Of course I didn't. This is my show. This is literally what I do. Should you buy a copy of it? Yes. Definitely run out today and buy a copy of the Berenstain Bears Visit the Farm. No, it's a good book. If you like Lift the Flap books, if your kids like Lift the Flappery, that's what it's all about. And we've gone over this in the past. There's different kinds of Lift the Flap books. I'm a fan of the ones that are like, where's the thing? Or is the thing here? Or what's behind here? And you open it and there's a surprise. There's no surprises in this book. They tell you what's behind every flap. So this is probably for little kids. Little kids who are interested in animals and farms and stuff like that. Otherwise, you could maybe give it a pass, but I don't know. It's cute. It's a cute book. Like, it's cute. So, yeah, it's good. Do we learn anything new? For one thing, they don't ever mention the turkey. The turkey's around in a few pictures. It does have the offensive name still, I bet, but they don't bring it up, so don't worry about that. Do we learn anything new about our characters? No, maybe that they're in denial about Farmer Ben being close to their house? I don't know. Do we learn anything new about Farmer and Mrs. Ben? Absolutely not. We know they have a farmhand. We know that it looks like Massive Milton Chubb works at their farm. So that, I think we already knew that though. But otherwise, they have a horse. They have some chickens. They have a farm. We knew they had a farm. We've known Farmer Ben has a farm for many years now. So, nothing new under the sun. But it's a fun book. Came out during COVID when we were looking for anything. And I bet there's some Lift the Flap fun happening during the initial quarantine. But that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me for this wacky little book. This wacky trip down memory book. Called the Berenstain Bears. Oh, but I sure hope I've been recording this whole time. Hold on. Oh boy, I have. I got scared for a second that I hadn't actually recorded this episode. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of this big, bold show. Listen to It's Del Toro Time if you have a chance. We just did the movie The Age of Innocence. Posted a video of that up on YouTube as well. Our next episode on The Age of Innocence is going to... Or not on The Age of Innocence. Our next episode on It's Del Toro Time's Ecstasy of Influence is going to be The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a fun one. We all enjoy that one. So you subscribe to that show and you'll hear me and Willow talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas, a movie we've seen 18 million times. Otherwise, thank you so much once again for supporting this show, for supporting my interests. If you don't support me at all, like if you listen to the show, but in your mind, you're like, I wish he'd stop doing this. Thanks anyway. You're listening to the show. I don't care what your motivations are. If this is your big hate listen, hate watch, more power to ya. More power to you. And I'll see you all next time. Deep in Bear Country. Transition.